The family of an 11-year-old boy, Aderrien Murry, who was shot and injured by a Mississippi police officer, is now suing. They're seeking $5 million in a federal lawsuit that was filed just yesterday. They're seeking damages for the boy's injuries, as well as the emotional distress of this horrific incident that he was put through, as well as punitive damages against the officer and the city. So if you're not familiar with what happened to Aderrien Murry and his family, effectively this is the setup. Aderrien's mother, Nakala Murry, said that her ex-boyfriend, the father of one of her children, knocked on her window in the early morning last Saturday and asked to be let in the home. Apparently, once inside, he became irate. So she called his grandmother, Aderrien's grandmother, and 911. Officers from the Indianola Police Department responded and tried to kick down the front door. Eventually, Miss Murry let them in. The officers asked if anyone was armed and then yelled for everyone in the house to come out with their hands up. When Aderrien, again, an 11-year-old boy, rounded a corner, following their commands, he was shot, according to Miss Murry. Mr. Moore identified the officer who fired as Greg Capers. These are the allegations that are being made. You can see a photo of Greg Capers here. They had literally yelled, "Come out." They said to come out. And when they came out, little boy, immediately the response was to fire. And here is a little video of Aderrien talking about the experience.
Did you think you were dying at the time?
Actually thought I was about to lose my life. I came out doing this. It then when Greg shot me, I did this to my chest. It feel like a taser, like a big punch to the chest. That's what it feel like getting shot.
Just devastating. Like you know, intellectually, this is an 11-year-old boy, but then when you see Aderrien, you think, my God, this is an 11-year-old boy. This is a little kid. And the first reaction you have to a little kid like that coming around the corner with their hands up is to shoot them. Well, anyway, they are suing. They're also pushing for the release of footage from body cameras. If that eventually happens, dear God, that footage is going to be rough, but can understand how devastated the family must be. Adrienne, what do you think about all this?
Absolutely, and just the trauma that's involved, the fact that you called for help, you did what you were supposed to do, and the officers couldn't help but see you as a target, that someone that they needed to use deadly force against. And I completely agree with you, John. If that body footage if that comes out and there's cursing and all sorts of craziness going on, it's just not gonna be a good look, and it's gonna be problematic. It's just a matter of people and citizens holding the law enforcement officials to a higher standard, because otherwise we're the ones really cutting the check at the end of the day.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, can we also point out, like, the end result was terrible, but let's also remember how this started. This is another case where a person in America thought, I need help. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna ask the cops for help. And that turned out to be way, way worse than just being left on your own. Like, this is like becoming such a common thing. You just need some assistance, someone to, like, you feel threatened perhaps, and then it turns out that you have invited to your home something 10 times as lethal as whatever it was that began the incident. She just wanted someone to resolve the situation of this ex of hers who was irate and was like yelling and stuff. And instead they kicked the door in. Why were their guns drawn in the first place? Why were the finger on the trigger, safety off, ready to use lethal force? Let's say it wasn't an 11-year-old boy. Let's say it was the boyfriend. Why is the assumption that you would have to shoot the boyfriend? Again, there potentially there's something that could come out about the phone call or the body cameras, perhaps why we want this information. But based on the actual information that's been presented, the approach, the stance of the cops when they show up seems utterly insane, Adrienne.
No, absolutely, and it's my understanding that the mother did communicate that her children were in the house so that they knew there were children there. And also it was the child who called 911. So it's like the officer would have known that there were children around. And I do understand that domestic violence situations are the most dangerous for police. At the same time, you're supposed to be there to de-escalate. And so automatically drawing your weapon without provocation, not a de-escalation tactic.
Yeah, and then when the kid comes around, what did you think that the guy was on his knees? Walking around, like you literally have to lower your gun to shoot. I don't understand it. I hope that the footage comes out. I hope that we get more information. As of right now, apparently he has been suspended. That's not an assumption always that that's going to happen, but that's where we stand right now, and we'll see what happens as we move forward. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.